So let's start way, way back. You were born in Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan, correct?
Yeah, I was. I was born in Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan, yeah.
And so tell me, what was life like in Hudson Bay?
Oh man, it was a small town of about 1,500 people, so it was really small. But it was great because I learned a lot. I grew up in a family of farmers and hunters. It was a really organic way of lifestyle, and it was a really simple living, but it was great. I wouldn't have traded it for the world, so it was an awesome place to grow up in.
No, no, and I mean Saskatchewan, they're known for, again, farming.
Hmm.
And we've actually had the Hunter brothers on not long ago. So you're in good company with music and farming upbringing.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, that's like they do that on the side, don't they, as well, the Hunter brothers?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
so
But
funny. That's awesome.
you got into music at a very young age. You mentioned at the age of 3 that your mom kind of got you into. She would sing karaoke, and you would then take the spotlight away from her.
Well, yes, so it's my first concert or my first time like performing for an audience was when I was 3, and the first like when I first started singing, I was like 2.5. That's when I would like take the karaoke mic away from her and take the spotlight.
And I'm sure she just didn't mind. She's just like, yeah, she's like, this is what she's born to be. It's like when Much Music used to do the Born to Be segments. That's when they would have had you on and said, yeah, this is what she was meant to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly what she was like. My mom was a super big believer and supporter in me, and honestly, I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her because she drove me around, Saskatchewan and Alberta and Manitoba since I was 3 to every singing competition and talent show there was. And she was just an incredible mom. She just really believed in me and supported me, and she was amazing.
And that's throughout like your whole family as well, because I've seen clips and videos there that it seems like you have a very musical family.
Yeah, my grandpa and my uncles and aunts, they would all pick and grin around the campfire with a guitar, and everybody, my grandpa was in a band before I was born when he was younger, and everybody was quite musical, but they never really wanted to do it like for a career. They just loved to do it, right? So music, the love of music is kind of in my blood.
When you mentioned about being 3, getting into the music side of things and performing, at 13, that's when you really started to play the guitar. What got you interested in the guitar compared to just say other musical instruments?
Well, my mom and my uncle, they played guitar, like just kind of around the campfire, like I said. And my mom would just kind of play it whenever she could. She'd pick it up and play it. And she was actually the one that taught me how to play it, right? So she was playing, and I kind of said I wanted to learn how. I was always so fascinated that she could play it. And so she actually taught me my first chords and my first song. And it just kind of, it happened naturally.
And I guess at what age did you really think that, that you wanted to pursue this as a dream and a passion? Because I know for myself, I like doing hosting, talking to individuals like yourself, different acts, but I knew that I wanted to do that maybe at 8 or 9, but not really like really pursue it until I was probably 16.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that, I always did it when I was like young, right? So I never really thought about it. It was just something that I just always did. But I think when I was 17 was when I decided that I was going to do it for like full time for the rest of my life, because that's when I was diagnosed with cancer. And before that, I was kind of, okay, am I going to go to school or am I going to go and do music? And then that happened. And I was like, you know what? Life is too short to do anything other than what you love.
No, no, absolutely, I agree. Now, if you don't mind, do you mind if I discuss the topic of cancer with you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, because I think that's really inspirational because I was reading up about it, and there are certain pictures there and certain things that I believe you tweet and share about how you lost all your hair, and without even doing a bit of research at the time, I was like, that's weird. It's like she has these beautiful like blonde curly hair, and what's going on here? So when I did a little bit of the research and found out about that story, I just wanted to ask you, like, why was that going? Why was that like going through that? And like, was it really tough times? And how did you make it through?
Well, yeah, it's really scary. It was definitely a really scary time, but also at the same time, I kind of looked at it as in like, okay, I'm going to make it. I'm really stubborn. Like, no matter what, I'm going to be okay. And I just kind of looked at it as something that I had to go through. And at the end of it, it would make me a better person, and I'd have a lot of experiences, and I'd have a view of life that a lot of people don't necessarily get to have. So I kind of always took it as it was going to be a learning lesson, and it was going to teach me a lot about the world and about other people and how to have empathy and compassion And I really just kind of looked at it as a way that I could, everything was kind of always about music, and I was going to use it, to feed my songwriting and figure out how I could help people after I was on the other side of it.
No, I agree, and I mean, I'm guessing going through that process, you had a lot of time to write songs, to really like write some emotional songs, because the things that you're going through, usually people have these outlets of, if they're going through a tough time, some write poetry, some write songs. Like everyone has their own way of coping. I really thought that was fascinating because looking at where you're to now and where you're to in high school, something that I'm sure a young emerging artist or even a young girl or a young male will look at and say, well, if she made it through a dark time, then I can make it through this dark time.
Right, exactly. I mean, I also wanted to, it doesn't matter where you are, who you come from, or what you've gone through. I kind of always channeled it to people to inspire people. You can do whatever you put your mind to.
Now, during this time as well, like I read up that you're a big fan of Shania Twain. Were you listening to a lot of Shania at this point?
Yeah, actually, I was. I grew up, being a huge Shania Twain fan. My mom has a video of me being little and saying that I want to be exactly like Shania Twain when I grow up. So, yeah, I definitely am a huge fan of Shania and always have been.
I love the song Up by Shania, so I'm wondering, was that on your playlist when you were going through this tough time?
I was kind of using music at the time, like all the music that I would listen to was all the music that I was writing, you know. But actually, one of my songs during that time was, it's really random and really strange. It's not even country, but it was a song called "Shake It Off" by the band called Metro Station. I would just dance around the kitchen and the living room if I was just like feeling down, and my mom and my sister and we would just dance around the kitchen and just like shake off if we were like, feeling sad or whatever. If we had like, when it'd come to just, any news about, going through chemo, if, we had a bad talk with the doctor or whatever, or met somebody who had 3 weeks to live, we would just kind of like come home and just be like, okay, we need to get in a different mind space because this is just really, you know.
Absolutely, and I like that. The shout out to Metro Station. It is very random, but
I know, I
I love
know.
that song. Now, of course, speaking of music in general, I really like your Bad Liar, More Times,
Thank
Not All
you.
Angels Can Fly. Those are really great songs. I really like the video to Bad Liar as well. Just the cloud. I believe that you like the cloud as well. The implement of
Mhm.
putting a cloud
Mhm.
over you while you're singing it. That's really cool. But now, one of the songs that, the more recent songs that I like is, you mentioned about Damn You Love. The
Thank
thing that I
you.
really like about it is you have like an old soul kind of sound. And I mean that complimentary. I really like it. It kind of brings back like an old country sound. Do you try to do that on purpose, or is it something that's just more natural to you to have that kind of sound?
Oh, it's definitely something that's more natural. I mean, I grew up on like Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson and Patsy Cline, so all of those old school country singers. And I love listening to Leanne Womack when I was younger too. So I think that I've kind of always like had that like really old school country sound ingrained in me. So it's just kind of something that comes natural.
You do have a Dolly Parton voice and a Leanne Womack sound. I've actually written that down as a note, so I
Ah,
suppose that's a very big compliment.
huge. It's a huge
Do
compliment. Thank you very much.
you mind talking a little bit about Damn You Love, like where the idea came from, the premise?
It was just something that idea. So I had that idea written down, and I was going into a write with one of my all-time favorite songwriters that there ever was, Liz Rose. She's written all the Taylor Swift songs. She's written Eli Young Band songs, Little Big Town songs. Carrie Underwood. She's an incredible songwriter, and I've wanted to write with her since I was 16 years old. So I finally got the opportunity to write with her, and I brought this idea in called Damn You Love. And I said, I really like this idea. And she's like, oh, I really like that too. So we just started writing it. We kind of came at it like it was her idea to kind of come at love like it was a person, like that. And to, instead of talking about love as in like, and to not make it negative, to make it like a positive spin, because it's kind of like, you always fall for love no matter what you do. You're kind of a sucker for love, like everybody is, because everybody wants to be in love. And you kind of talk to love like it's a person. Honestly, it was such a great writing experience. And I remember when we walked into CMT with the music video or with the song, and we had already had Bad Liar done. We were asking them to put Bad Liar on, and they were like, well, we're kind of all booked up until September, and we'd already released Bad Liar, so we're like, oh man, that's not going to be good for us. But then we played them Damn You Love, and they're like, you know what, we're going to fit Bad Liar in here, and then we're going to make Damn You Love the TMT artist feature of the month. So it was just kind of like, that song kind of did a lot for me.
The CCA Discovery Program, that's kind of where you met your love of your life right now, Eric, and we kind of joked about it on our podcast, how you won the award, you won the trophy, and no offense, hopefully you don't beat me up if you ever see me, but I called it almost like a trophy wife, because he passed off the trophy to you, and now you're married.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, no, it was a good day all around. You know, it's funny how the universe sometimes conspires, because, you know, if it wasn't for me applying for the CCMA Discovery Award, even if, you know, it wasn't for Eric applying for the CCMA Discovery Award, we never would have met, you know, at the time that we did. So it was a very great day. That whole scenario really was.
Just tell me a little bit more, of course, about the CCMA Discovery Program. Like, how did you apply? Was there certain rules and restrictions? And how did you feel when you actually got that award?
Well, actually, so I'm a member of the CCMAs, and I got an email that was actually, I was looking through my junk mail one day, and I got an email sent to my junk mail. It's like, apply for the CCMA Discovery Artist. And I was like, you know what? I was living in Nashville at the time, and I was like, it'd be a good opportunity to get back into my own country for the country music award and the country music scenes. So I decided to apply for it. I ended up getting in the top 6. There was a couple of different process. They have a top 9. No, sorry, I think maybe 12, and then they have a top 6 that you have to get in. And so there's a process for that, and then they fly you to Toronto, and you work with a bunch of music industry people, and then that's in early May, I think, and then you come back to, you know, whatever you're doing, and then during the CCMAs in September, you have to go and perform, and then the winner gets picked the next night at the CCMAs. It was such a great process. It was such a great experience. It really, really helped my career. It was I'm really glad that I applied. And then obviously I met Eric through it, and that was amazing as well. So it was a really good experience.
No, absolutely. I mean, it worked out really well for you, because now when I look at Twitter, you guys, as much as you can see the pure passion, both of you love country music, both of you clearly are very interested in each other, otherwise you wouldn't be married. But I just love how you guys do little videos. Like, I believe I seen one on Twitter where you guys did something super cheesy, as you put it on your Twitter, but just singing together, which I think is really cool and not at all cheesy, Kelsey.
Yeah, well, you know, we love, I mean, I love the sound of his voice, and he says that he loves the sound of mine. So we honestly sing together all the time, whether if it's just joking around or if it's for serious, and we write all the time together as well. So we really enjoy each other's company, and, you know, if we can do our passion and be with each other at the same time, then it's just makes everything all the better.
No, absolutely, and especially in the self-isolation with the coronavirus now, you want to be able to withstand other people's voices. So it's a good thing
Right? Exactly.
you guys like each other's. I want to mention that as well, because seeing that is a little bit of a hot topic here. I seen that you posted a bit of a cover of a Faith Hill song. Was Faith Hill another artist that you enjoyed growing up with?
Oh yeah, I loved listening to her. Faith Hill, Shania Twain, all of those artists I just absolutely adored. All the women of the 90s country era.
Absolutely. I feel like calling you and Eric the Canadian Tim McGraw, Faith Hill.
Oh, thank you. That's a huge compliment.
That would be funny. It's like, when you guys go for an award show, it's like, listen, we're going to wear some Canadian tuxedos, and people are going to, like, assume, like, oh, man, they're going to come out with, like, red, white, and flags on them. And then, like, no, you just come out in all denim. They're like, well, what is this? And you're like, it's a Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I want to mention here as well is the song Roll With It. When you were mentioning about the message of the song, and I'll let you explain that as well, it sounds to me a little or a lot like Eric's song Gasoline, because Gasoline has a little bit of the same message. So defend yourself. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote this song probably 3-4 years ago. 3.5 years ago when I first moved to Nashville. And it was just kind of one of those, I was in a different relationship at the time, and it was just I think I was being really honest with myself and knew that it wasn't working, expressing without understanding what I was saying at the time. And it's about really just being in a relationship that you shouldn't be in and that you don't really want to be in, but you're not being honest with yourself. So you're just kind of rolling with it.
Without listening to the track at first, and when I heard "Roll with It," my immediate reaction was Oasis "Roll with It." Oh, she's doing a cover. And then when I actually heard the song, I was like, well, that's not the same thing, but it sounds great. And that's when I picked up on like the Dolly Parton, Leanne Womack. And I'm glad that you did like those artists, because it'd be very, very funny and very upsetting if you were like, never heard of those two, don't like them at all. Hung up the phone, I'd be like, Kelsey, you still there? With the self-isolation, with the coronavirus, what are you guys doing to keep yourselves busy? Because I see that you guys are doing some workout videos. Is that the new trend?
Well, not really. I mean, we were working out at home one day and we were just like, we should videotape this because like Eric's, he was a personal trainer before. And so he knows a lot about like what it would be good if you're stuck at home and you're bored and you want to work out, but don't want to go out to the gym or whatever, and you don't want to go outside. They're just like, just things that people could do. So we'll just show them and then make a video of it. And then if people want to do it, they can. If they don't, then that's fine.
I'm looking at that background too, that Eric was also a football player. So I'm guessing that's like one of his daily routine is try to keep yourself in shape. But I just thought it was really, really funny when it's just like, hey guys, we're doing self-isolation workout videos. People are doing the wash your hand videos. I'm like, I guess we're getting to the point where it's a little bit insanity and just trying to keep saying we're going to do anything that we can.
Yes, I've been baking a ton. I don't think I've baked this much in forever. So also been doing that, which is great. And then just visiting with family. We're so lucky that we get to be with family during this time, because it'd be really lonely if we had to be by ourselves for like my sister, she's in Vancouver and she's by herself, and I'm trying to text her and FaceTime her all the time just to make sure that she's okay and that she's not lonely, and if she wants to talk that I'm here, right? So we're definitely really lucky that we get to see the bright side in all this and get time with our family, which is something that we don't get much because we're down in Nashville all the time. We live there, right? So
with the self-isolation, like it seems a lot more people are doing FaceTime videos. I've seen now that a lot of acts, and including yourself, because we're going to plug this as well, that you guys do live streams. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's the new trend, even when the coronavirus is over. I've said it a few times. I don't know if it actually happened, but it seems like a lot of acts do Instagram lives, and they're getting a little bit more of feedback from people. Now, that's probably because we're all locked in our houses, but you get a little bit more of an intimate feel.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I used to do Facebook Lives every Monday all the time before kind of it got a little bit busier in Nashville, and I was didn't really have the time to do it, but I'm going to also be starting that back up as well, because now I have the time to do it. Right?
And I think it's really cool for the acts themselves, because when you're at a concert per se, you're surrounded by a big group of people, so they don't get to hear the little small stories of I've been listening to you since I'm 2 or since I'm 5. But when you see the comments roll in, you kind of get a little bit more of a touching moment, because they're reaching out to you and they're being able to express their whole story.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And to close the interview off, Kelsey, are you ready to play a game of firsts?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this. So the first one is, who was your first celebrity crush?
Oh, my first celebrity crush? Man. I don't even know. Was it like maybe Josh Hartnett?
Okay. So I'm a little bit unfamiliar. Who would that be? Like, what was he starring in?
He was like one of those 90s young teen girl. He was an actor.
As long as he's nowhere near you, because I feel like Eric might wanna debate that one. No.
Definitely not.
The first CD you ever bought?
The first CD I ever bought was a Spice Girls CD.
See, not even in the country realm. See, so if I had to put my money down, I was going to say Shania Twain, Faith Hill, or something. But you're going right off beat, going with Spice Girls.
I know. Well, my mom always had those albums that she bought all the time anyway, so I would buy my Spice Girls,
Okay, I feel like in this time frame of this coronavirus, I want to see you upload your cover of a Spice Girls song. I'm actually challenging you. Idea. I'm challenging you to do that.
I love that. Okay, all right. I like a good challenge.
And the first concert you attended.
This is actually. Oh, you know what? The first concert I attended was a Martina McBride concert.
Nice. I like that. Martina McBride's one of my favorites as well. I
Oh,
believe
she's so great.
I believe she was supposed to come to like a venue in Ontario, and now it's not going to happen, and I'm a little bit disappointed because I feel like that would be a really good show. First song you ever covered in your whole lifetime?
Oh man, I think it was "What Part of No Don't You Understand" by Lori Morgan.
With that being said, do you still know the words to it?
Probably. I definitely know like the first verse and the first and the chorus, but I'm not sure if I remember the whole song. I might, but I would have to think about it for a second.
No, that's fair. I mean, I'm just wondering because it's like it baffles me at times when someone will say like, people remember stuff through music,
Mm-hmm.
and the other day I've seen, so I don't know, again, the act was Lights, so she's from, I believe, out west,
She's so
and she was
good.
doing she was doing a Facebook Live, and so I was thinking, oh, she's going to do her cover songs. Haven't heard from Lights in a while, so I thought this is very interesting. And then she played Smash Mouth All-Star, and it sounded awesome.
Wow.
And then when I was trying to sing along to it, I messed up the lyrics, and I was like, it's always around a certain part in that song that I mess up the lyrics. So you would think over years and years of singing it, you'd be like, I got it this time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I know my version, and my version is messing up.
That's funny.
That's going to do it for this episode of Tobin Tonight. Our thanks to Kalsey Kulyk for coming on the show. Remember, you can find past, present, and future episodes on TobinTonight.com, Spotify, and iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and leave a comment or two. For Tobin and myself, this is Jacob saying, Kelsey has a remarkable old soul kind of voice. It's refreshing. Just thought I'd toss that in there. Thanks for listening, and good night.